Well, let's get a US perspective now, and we can speak to France 24's Fraser Jackson, who joins us from Washington. Fraser, I mean, there is something of a diplomatic tussle now between Canberra, the Australian capital, and Washington. Tell us what this is about and who's saying what.
Yeah, well, Julian Assange is, of course, an Australian citizen born in Australia, and that means that Canberra has been effectively advocating on his behalf. Australia has been getting closer to the US in recent years. We saw them sign that AUKUS deal about the nuclear-powered submarines, a deal between the US, Australia, and, of course, the UK. And we also saw that Prime Minister Albanese was here in Washington in October for a state visit as well with Joe Biden. Now, Julian Assange's fate has been a point of contention, however, in that relationship. We heard from Prime Minister Albanese that he raised Assange's case with Joe Biden multiple times while he was here in Washington, both in an informal meeting as well as in a discussion in the Oval Office and also in a formal meeting with cabinet secretaries as well. Now, Albanese said that he, quote, made it clear that enough is enough and that it was time it was brought to a conclusion. The Australian Attorney General has also raised concerns with his counterpart here in the US, Merrick Garland, saying that the government's position on Mr. Assange is very clear and hasn't changed. It's time this matter is brought to an end. That's what Mr. Dreyfus said. And it even is something that's still ongoing now. That meeting between the Attorneys General was just last month in January, but as recently as last week, the Australian Parliament met and passed a resolution calling for Assange's release. That was something that was supported by the Prime Minister Albanese, who afterwards said it's not up to Australia to interfere in the legal processes of other countries, but it is appropriate for us to put our very strong view that those countries need to take into account the need for this to be concluded. So a bit of a sticky point there between Australia and the United States.
OK, Fraser Jackson in Washington, thank you very much indeed for bringing us all the latest.